day 7 of the OAC holiday season and the 15 days of NCAA legislation, and you guessed it, we are on to Proposal 2023-7. You will also recall that Proposal 7 was one of the proposals that we covered in Resolution 1. So today we'll talk about Proposal 7, and tomorrow we'll talk about Proposal 8. And you'll see a link below this video that actually compares Proposals 7 and 8 both to one another and to the current legislation. But just as a brief reminder, if Resolution 1 is adopted, when we get to Proposals 7 and 8 on the convention floor, we'll first talk about those two proposals in comparison to one another. We'll then take a vote on Proposal 7 versus Proposal 8. Whichever of the two comes out on top of that first vote will be the first of the two to be voted on in comparison to the current legislation. If that first proposal is adopted, we will not vote on the other, as that will be rendered moot. If the first proposal is not adopted, we would then move on to vote on the other proposal in comparison to the current legislation. I know that's a lot and it's a little bit of a tongue twister, but we'll have a number of opportunities to review that voting process before January. So for now, let's just take a look at the nuts and bolts of Proposal 7. Proposal 2023-7 is sponsored by 5 Division III conferences and would amend the size and composition of both the management and president's councils. The basic premise here is that every Division III conference would be represented on either the president's or management council, and that the two councils would be the same size. Under this proposal, the president's council would move to 24 members, and 22 of those 24 slots would be filled by representatives from member conferences, the other 2 slots being filled by national SAC representatives. It's important to note that the national SAC representatives would not count as their conference representative. Rather, they would solely represent the position of national SAC. Then the 22 conferences that are not represented on President's Council would be represented on Management Council, along with 2 additional national SAC representatives. This proposal would also change the process for nominating members of the President's Council. So under the current legislation, these positions are nominated through a President's Council subcommittee, then with approval by the full President's Council. If Proposal 7 is adopted, all representatives would be nominated by the nominating committee, who handles nominations for all other Division III governance committees, and would then go to the President's Council for approval. I will note that both the presidents and management councils oppose this proposal because they prefer proposal number 8, which again we will talk about tomorrow. And again, you can see the distinctions between the two proposals using the link below. So for our OAC people, if you prefer proposal 7 to proposal 8, you would vote in favor of proposal 7 in the first vote on the convention floor. Then, depending on whether proposal 7 or 8 prevails in that head-to-head battle, you may have an opportunity then to vote on proposal 7 in comparison to the current legislation.